Dear listeners, welcome to the very first episode of the Tesifix podcast. We are beyond excited to have you here as we embark on this journey together.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, it's funny, we're doing a deep dive on a podcast about deep dives. It's very meta.
Right.
But that's what we're all about here.
Right.
Diving deep into the world of Tesla to extract those golden nuggets of knowledge.
This channel is built with a singular focus to empower Tesla owners and electric vehicle enthusiasts with reliable, accurate, and actionable information.
Exactly. And let me tell you, that's music to the ears of anyone who's ever felt lost in the sea of Tesla tips, tricks, and let's be honest, sometimes straight up mix.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Think of it this way. You've invested in an incredible piece of technology. Now, wouldn't you want to learn how to truly master it, unlock its full potential, and maybe even avoid a few unnecessary trips to the service center?
Okay. You've got my attention. So how does Tesifix plan to achieve all that? What makes them different?
Well, for starters, their commitment to relying solely on official Tesla resources, like the owner's manual and the Tesla website, is huge. It's about cutting through the noise and providing a clear, trustworthy path to knowledge.
That makes sense. But let's be honest, how many of us actually have the time or patience to wade through hundreds of pages of manuals?
That's the beauty of Tesifix. They do the heavy lifting for you, extracting the most relevant and practical information and presenting it in a way that's both digestible and engaging.
So instead of feeling overwhelmed, it's more like having a Tesla expert riding shotgun with you, ready to answer your questions and guide you through any situation. I like that.
It is a bit like having a co-pilot. And it can really help you navigate some common Tesla frustrations. Imagine you're on a road trip and suddenly your touchscreen freezes. Now, instead of frantically searching online forums for a solution, you can turn to Tesifix for a clear, concise, and most importantly, accurate set of steps to reset the system.
Okay, that would be a lifesaver. But can a podcast really replace a mechanic for those trickier issues? Convince me.
Let's say your car throws a charging fault error. Tesifix wouldn't tell you to grab a wrench. That's not safe. But they might explain Tesla's diagnostic features, like how to check the car's logs for clues. That way, when you do need a technician, you're armed with info and can better advocate for yourself.
So it's about empowering owners to be more informed, even if the fix requires professional help. I see the value in that.
Exactly. It's not just about fixing problems yourself. It's about understanding how your Tesla works, which honestly makes the entire ownership experience more enjoyable.
You know. You mentioned trips to the service center. I have a confession. I once spent hours trying to troubleshoot phantom braking before realizing it was just autopilot being a little overzealous.
Yeah.
If I had Tesifix back then, I probably could have saved myself a lot of stress.
And that's another key benefit, avoiding unnecessary service visits. Tesifix can help you distinguish between a true issue and something easily addressed through a setting adjustment or a software update.
Speaking of software updates, I know Tesla is famous for those over-the-air updates that constantly introduce new features and refinements. How does Tesifix keep up with this constantly evolving landscape?
Well, they're committed to staying ahead of the curve. They'll be keeping a close eye on those updates and will dedicate episodes to unpacking what's new, how it impacts your car, and even those hidden gems that you might miss otherwise.
That's what I'm talking about, hidden gems. There's nothing more satisfying than discovering a cool new feature you didn't even know your Tesla had. It's like getting a bonus present after the holidays.
It is. And just as there's always more to learn about our cars, there's also a sense of community that grows around this shared passion.
And I bet Tesifix taps into that sense of community, right? It can't just be manuals and tech specs all the time.
You're right. Think of those online Tesla forums. But curated by experts and free of misinformation, Tesifix plans to feature stories and advice from experienced Tesla owners.
So it's like having access to a network of seasoned Tesla veterans, all ready to share their insights.
Tips.
And maybe even a few cautionary tales.
Precisely. Because sometimes the best way to learn is from those who've been there and done that.
Absolutely. And speaking of learning, it seems like Tesifix has a pretty diverse range of content planned. Let's take a closer look at what they have in store for us.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Tesifix. In this part, let's get specific. What kind of content can you expect from this podcast?
All right, let's get down to brass tacks. I'm picturing a new Tesla owner, fresh off the lot with that new car smell still lingering. What does Tesifix offer them?
Well, Tesifix understands that shiny new Tesla can feel like a spaceship at first, so they'll have episodes dedicated to those first steps, things even seasoned techies might overlook.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, imagine this. You're loving the giant touchscreen, but all those icons are a bit much. Tesifix will walk you through customizing the display, prioritizing the features you use most. It's about making the car feel like yours.
That's smart. It's not just about learning what the buttons do. It's about personalization. But what about those of us who've had our Teslas for a while? I'm no newbie, but I still hit snags sometimes.
Tesifix has got you covered there, too. They'll have troubleshooting guides based on real owner questions. Think of it like this. That frustrating phantom braking you mentioned earlier. They'll have an episode explaining why it happens, when it's normal, and when it's worth a service call.
Hold on. I need to picture this. So it's like having a mechanic on call. But instead of charging me an hourly rate, they're giving me the knowledge to diagnose things myself.
Exactly. And because they're only using official Tesla info, you can trust the guidance. Speaking of trust, there's a lot of bad EV advice out there.
Oh, tell me about it. Everyone's a sudden expert once you say you drive electric. How does Tesifix cut through that noise?
It comes back to their reliance on those verified Tesla sources.
I'm learning things already. I guess that's why sticking to official sources matters. But doesn't relying on the manual make the podcast, well, a bit dry?
Not at all. They plan to spice things up with those owner stories we mentioned. Think of it as the wisdom of the crowd, but vetted for accuracy.
So it's like a curated Tesla forum where the advice is actually reliable. I'm into that. Any specific examples of what these owner stories might cover?
They could range from tips on maximizing range in cold weather, which Teslas don't excel at, by the way.
Oh, no. Tell me about it. My winter range is a sad story.
Well, Tesifix will share those energy-saving secrets straight from experienced owners. They might also have stories about planning the ultimate Tesla road trip, complete with charging strategies and scenic routes.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm picturing cross-country adventures, silent highway cruising. But let's be real. There's more to EV ownership than just road trips.
Right, absolutely. Tesifix will also cover those everyday aspects, things like setting up home charging, maximizing regenerative braking, even how to keep your Tesla sparkling clean.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. Yeah. Because let's be honest, that beautiful Tesla paint doesn't stay pristine on its own. But I'm curious, will Tesifix go beyond the practical stuff? What about the bigger picture of Tesla ownership?
You're thinking about sustainability.
Right, exactly. It's a big reason why many of us choose electric. I'd love to hear more about that side of things.
Well, Tesifix won't shy away from those conversations. They'll have episodes discussing the environmental impact of EVs, debunking myths about battery production, and even exploring the future of sustainable transportation.
So it's not just about driving a cool car. It's about being part of a larger movement towards a greener future.
Precisely. Tesifix will connect the dots between your individual actions as a Tesla owner and the collective impact we can have on the planet.
Okay. I'm officially sold. They've thought of everything.
Fine.
But all this amazing content, it must take a lot of work to put it together.
It does. And this is where listener support becomes so crucial. By spreading the word, sharing feedback, and even contributing your own Tesla experiences, you can help ensure Tesifix continues to thrive.
It's like a two-way street. We benefit from their knowledge. And in turn, we help them grow and reach even more Tesla enthusiasts. I love that sense of community. But before we get too carried away, we have one more part of this deep dive to explore: the future of Tesifix. Welcome back to our deep dive into Tesifix. We've talked about their mission, their commitment to accuracy, and their diverse content lineup. But now let's look beyond the present and into the future. What can we expect as Tesifix evolves alongside the ever-changing world of Tesla.
You know, what excites me is that Tesifix isn't just about keeping up, it's about anticipating what's next. The EV landscape is shifting rapidly, and Tesla is at the forefront of that change.
That's what makes this so fascinating. We're not just talking about cars, we're talking about the future of transportation, technology, and even sustainability. Where do you see Tesifix fitting into that bigger picture?
Well, imagine this. Tesla announces a major breakthrough in autonomous driving. Tesifix won't just report the news, they'll break it down, explain the tech in layman's terms, and discuss the potential impact on our lives.
So it's like having a front row seat to the future. With Tesifix as our expert guide, I can definitely see the appeal in that. But Tesla's not just about self-driving cars.
Right.
There's the whole energy ecosystem with solar panels, power walls, and even those megapacks that are changing the way we store and distribute power.
You're right, and I bet Tesifix will delve into those areas as well. They might have episodes dedicated to home energy management, explaining how to integrate your Tesla with solar panels and optimize your energy usage.
Think about it. A future where your car isn't just a mode of transportation, but an active part of a sustainable energy network. That's pretty mind-blowing.
Absolutely. And Tesifix could even become a platform for discussing the ethical and societal implications of these advancements. We're talking about a shift in our entire relationship with energy and transportation.
It's not just about cool tech. It's about shaping a responsible and sustainable future. I'm glad Tesifix seems to be aware of that broader context, but let's not forget the human element. As Tesla continues to grow, so too will its community of owners and enthusiasts.
And that's where I see the greatest potential for Tesifix, fostering connections and amplifying those diverse voices within the Tesla community. Imagine hearing stories from Tesla owners across the globe, sharing their unique experiences and perspectives.
It's like creating a global tapestry of the Tesla experience, woven together by Tesifix. We could learn about the challenges of charging in remote areas, the joys of silent off-roading adventures, and maybe even get a glimpse into how different cultures embrace electric mobility.
And as this community grows, who knows what might emerge? Maybe Tesifix could even facilitate collaborations between owners, leading to the development of new accessories, apps, or even entirely new ways to use our Teslas.
It's like a seed being planted, with Tesifix providing the fertile ground for ideas to blossom. It's incredibly exciting. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Tesifix, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought.
Please do.
As you embark on your own Tesla journeys, remember that you're not alone. There's a vibrant community out there, eager to share knowledge, offer support, and celebrate the joys of electric mobility. And Tesifix is your passport to that community. Tune in, engage, and let Tesifix be your trusted guide on the road to a smarter, more connected, and ultimately, more enjoyable Tesla experience.
Well said. Thanks for having me on this deep dive. It's been a pleasure exploring the potential of Tesifix with you.
And a huge thanks to all our listeners for joining us on this inaugural episode. We can't wait to continue this journey with you as we dive deep into the world of Tesla together. Until next time, drive safe and stay charged.